Correct.
So
We're live.
Am I live?
It says upcoming.
Okay, good. So I am live now. Hello, this is Tony Market Moves, and I've got Metasport channel on the line, and we're going to talk a little bit about what happened today.
You got to adjust your.
Hello.
I can see my picture on your screen, but I can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me.
No.
Let's see.
You don't want to see it, like.
Oh, you can't see me?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Not being able to see me. Okay. No, we don't want that. We just want to just capture the display. You can see you on the left, but can you see me now?
Nope.
Can you see anyone?
I can see my picture of my Twitter page.
And that's it? Nothing else?
That's it. Like some brown something or other.
Brown something. Oh.
Like.
Do you see anything on the right?
I think I want to see you, but you got to like shift it over to the left a little bit.
Oh, hang on. How big is this? Let me see. It could be that this is too big to be live. Let's see. Again, this is slightly different settings. Hello, this is Market Moves. I'm experiencing technical issues right now, and we're having a look. Oh, I see what's going on now. Okay, got it.
I can send you a picture.
Yeah. So this needs to go this. No, it's not this way. This needs to go this way, apparently. And at this point, what do we see? At this point, we see, how about this? Now, can you see everything?
I just sent you a picture of what I'm.
Oh, how did you send the picture?
Yeah, send your.
Oh, it's in my. Okay, let me see.
Oh, there you go. Now you're like. It looks like you're like in a video of a video of yourself. So you like need to minimize.
Okay. Let's see.
There you go. I can see you now.
You can see me now. Okay, good. There we go. Hello, we are live. This is Tony Market Moves. I've got Metasport channel on the line. We're going to talk about what's going.
Move it over a little bit to the other. Sorry.
This way.
Just trying to help. Yes. A little bit more. A little bit more. You're not quite in frame. You're like half of your face is in frame.
How's this?
So whatever you just did there, move your. There you go.
Okay, how's that? Okay, there we go. Good. How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Tony Market Moves. I've got Metasport channel on the line. We're going live. As you can tell, I'm not the greatest at going live. Let me start by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. It's information is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and neither is Metasport channel a financial advisor, and he doesn't give financial advice either. Sounds good?
So bad.
So hopefully everyone can hear me.
Yeah.
And we're just going to go over what happened today because it was a crazy day. I was at work and I was just watching this happen on my phone and stuff like that. So it was a totally crazy day. So I woke up this morning.
But don't you feel a sense of relief that this chapter is all over?
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to what's coming up next. That's all. Yeah. So I have a bunch of shares of MMTLP. That should be obvious to anybody. And like John Berta, I have not sold a single share. And there you go. That's just the way it is.
So how did you feel today when you looked at your account and you found?
So I was like all set to take my own advice about, selling a little bit to break even and not having to worry about anything and having diamond hands forever. But then I woke up this morning at like in California time, 6 a.m. And I saw what the shorts had done. And that just pissed me off. And I said, screw this. I totally changed my mind at that point. And I said, screw this. They got what's coming to them.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that. I'm a human being, and I am emotional.
At some point, much as I've been like training myself and watching videos and watching other people think the same thing that I have felt. When it's all happening in real time, you're kind of like, I think I told you today, I was like, am I making the right decision? Am I making the right decision? Do I, all this DD that I've done, all this research, all the reasons why I took a position in MMAT during the merger, it was that did I fail myself, you know?
Right.
And yesterday when you and I chatted with Roll Visions, there was kind of we kind of talk a little bit. There's a group of us that chat, and there was a groundswell of, you know, don't instill fear in the investor, right? And
right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thought was that you and I kind of figured out that there was a strong probability. No one knows the future, but there's a strong probability that the shorts were going to do this. We're going to do a massive attack and bring the price down. And I think you actually calculated that it should come down below 5 because right. So you did your analysis where actually I'll let you talk about your analysis and the number of shareholders and all that. So why don't you go ahead?
Well, yeah, I mean, I looked at it, and you know, when the third S1 came out, and Meta had announced in their S1 that they had done whatever kind of DD they can do. I mean, they obviously have access to information that we don't have. They posted in their S1 that there was about 65,000 investors at an average of 2,000 shares each. And at the time of the post, at the time of the announcement, which was like a 5 o'clock after 5, I looked at it, and the price was right at like $4.50, right at $5. So I felt like, okay, if I were a short position and I was trying to play a level of a psychological game to get everyone that was a new investor out of their shares, I would, at a minimum, go at the $5 mark, because at that point you have to make a decision. Like, I can get out and I can feel good about myself, and I did this, and I'm going to break even. I'm just going to, I can't take it. I'm going to break even.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thought process number 2 is, you know, I'll take a bit of a loss. You know, I'll go under 5, and you know, I'll take, you know, my 2,000 shares that were once valued at $10,000. I'll take a 10% loss, right? You know, I'll walk that down, but hopefully it stops really soon, right? Oh no.
Right, and you're talking about the average investor, right? The average investor, I believe you told me, had what, 2,000 shares, right?
2,000 shares, and there were 65,000.
There you go. Right.
Yep. So you got to figure, you know, at a minimum they're going to go at 5, and then I felt like, well, but they're not going to go just at 5. That's their bare minimum. They want to break them. They want to break, right? So they're probably going to go a little bit deeper than that. So they'll probably go to like 4.
Yeah, they want them to feel regret, right? They want them to think, oh, gee, I should have sold, right? That's the whole thing.
Like, yeah. We're not done with you yet. You stick around till 2, right? We're gonna. And so right around 2 o'clock, I'm sitting here going, damn, dude, they're at like 45%. Like,
yeah.
Like how many more shares are they willing to put into the market to short?
Right.
Oh, was I wrong?
We were both wrong.
They went.
Yeah.
They're like, we're all in. We're also all in. You guys are all in. We're all in.
We're all in. Yeah.
And I think our share turnover was about 4%.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
That's what I said.
So nobody. So let's see if I can call. Actually. Let me see. Okay, so I have I think I posted it on Twitter.
Okay.
On Twitter.
You gotta move that up now. You can't see it.
Okay, cool. Let me find it first. So on Twitter, I posted. Actually, let me look for my tweets. If I've got it over here, I'm pretty sure I do. Again, okay. So on Twitter, I posted this, right? So I don't know if you guys can see this. I hope you can.
Move it a little bit over to the left, towards my face.
Okay, how's that?
A little bit more.
A little bit more? Okay. Okay, cool.
Keep going.
Keep going? Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
We're very technically savvy. You're almost there.
I'm doing this with one monitor right now on a laptop. That's why.
Yeah.
So normally I have 2 on my desktop, but I'm just using a laptop. Anyway, so this is the orders by Fidelity customers. Hopefully you can see this, right?
Yep, we did.
Okay, good. So this is the orders by Fidelity customers, screenshot taken from my phone. MMTLP is number 2 ticker. And as you can tell, it's over 90% green. Okay. Which basically means you got a lot more buys and almost no sells. And we had about technically we had, I think, 13 million in volume. 14 million in volume. Yeah. So when you see this and 14 million in volume, you know for a fact that retail didn't sell. You didn't sell. I didn't sell. No human being sold. The only people who were selling were computer algorithms, and they were naked shorting. So at that point, yeah, I'm like, screw this.
But at the time when it's live, you're emotional, you're a human, you're like, you're watching all these.
Yeah, my emotions are a little bit different than the average human. If you offer me an ultimatum, I'm likely to take you up on it just because of the way I am. Not everyone's, willing to do that, right? I mean,
I'm the same way.
If you tell me or else, I'll take the or else. So, yeah. So
well,
it's not a good trait. I don't recommend, people do that, of course, but I'm just telling you a little bit about myself. Oh, man.
Well, and I, honestly, like, you had a video one time about symmetric trading versus asymmetric trading.
Yeah, it's an asymmetric opportunity, right? The downside is the downside is 100%. The upside is like 10,000 plus, right?
Right.
So basically, you could lose everything, but you can make a lot more than double. Yeah.
If you were to place a $100 bet on DraftKings for a football game, that would be considered a symmetric trade. You bet 100 and you win 100.
Right.
Well, you and I are doing what we would call asymmetric trading. So you're betting 100 to win 10,000, right?
Correct.
And
yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's still money. And so anyway, back to what you were saying, or back to what we were saying, like the average trader, I felt like they were going to go at the $5 mark, and then I said to you, I go, I think they're going to go deeper. I think they're going to go to 4. But then they finished the day at $2.90.
Yeah.
So they went full Monty, man. They went full Monty. I believe I saw Syntax post something about how someone was able to see some back office information and was able to extrapolate or extract or see that something like 80 million shares.
Oh, yeah. So hang on. There's one thing I wanted to say before, we moved over there. So I have personal friends of mine who emailed me, texted me, and let me know and asked me, hey, gee, what's going on? And they wound up buying. And that's the way that went down. So
why did they buy?
They bought because one guy basically said, "Is this the opportunity of a lifetime?" Because he missed the run up, right? I mean, he said, "Oh," and another person said, "Hey, so everyone thought it was a bargain, and they said this is the last opportunity to get next bridge hydrocarbons." And so they went in.
I think a lot of people on Fidelity felt the same way. I think a lot of people on a lot of broker platforms felt the same way.
Yeah.
And what I was really curious to see is that I felt like the sentiment on Twitter, at least, the what I would consider to be the average, normal retail investor, was very positive. We did that. Syntax did that stream today, and there was a lot of positivity there, and I think that helps. And being alone on an island trying to figure the world out is difficult. Being around people that have the same ideals that you do makes things a lot easier.
Okay. Oh, so a couple things that we found out today. TD Ameritrade thinks that they have a note or they think they have corporate action from the DTC or the DTCC, but as of I don't know, 20 minutes ago, I checked my Fidelity account. I have not seen any corporate actions. So I don't know what's going on with that. Could be the DTCC has not sent out corporate actions. Could be TD Ameritrade is operating on its own because they see the risk and they're not going to, they're not going to let themselves be held liable for this huge possible risk. So yeah, it's hard to say, right?
Well, I just looked at my Schwab account and
Mhm.
I looked at corporate actions, and they also did not have anything posted.
Okay, cool.
So
go ahead.
yeah, well, I'm just saying this because this is what so you have to look at this as a normal investor, right? Here's what a normal investor would know right now. They know that the SEC approved it. They know that FINRA approved it,
Mm-hmm.
and they were waiting on one other, basically stamp. And I saw several markets or several posts that different places were posting that shorts have to close. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think there's going to be any sort of issues. I'm looking at tomorrow. Well, so let's talk about tomorrow, right? What's going to happen tomorrow? Why are people here? Why are people listening? What do you think is going to happen tomorrow as we kind of go into?
Yeah. So first off, I can't predict the future. Nobody can predict the future. Anyone who tells you they can predict the future is lying to you. But
right.
This is just our opinions, right? So,
right.
So tomorrow, I think that they basically have tomorrow and the day after to try to close their short positions, right? So that's Friday and Monday to try to close their short positions before they wind up having to deliver Nextbridge hydrocarbon shares. Because if they don't close it by Monday, I believe that means that they have to deliver Nextbridge hydrocarbons by not Tuesday, but Wednesday. Is that correct? There was some update from FINRA, so I didn't go over the update, but apparently there was some wording that got changed.
Well, there was some verbiage where it went from canceled. They actually. So this is how impressed I was with Meta. If I was going to throw kudos at anyone,
it's probably WSGR, to be honest.
Well, it came out. There was a posting that came out around I'm going to say right around 3, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is all happening. And then shortly thereafter, it actually got redacted, and there was verbiage changed from MMTLP is going to be going from canceled to deleted.
Right.
So I think the whole Voltron movement, and I'm not kidding when I say this, and I'm generalizing here a little bit, but I think their whole movement was based upon they felt like things were going to get canceled and all of this was going to go to wash. Well, It's not.
It's not. No.
Now it's considered to be deleted. Deleted means that you have to return your shorted shares. And that is where I think Meta was prepared for this. And they quickly got on top of it and said, look, you cannot post this. This is not true. This is where we're at. This is all happening. This is all live. And within I'm going to say maybe 30 to 45 minutes, it got redacted and changed.
Really? Okay. That's pretty cool. So I believe, I don't know for a fact, but I believe the term.
Do I need to post this on, do I need to retweet this? I can't, on your homepage, I can't see that we're streaming.
Oh, yeah, tweet it out. I have no idea.
All right,
the only people who would know are people who are, I didn't post anything.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, please post it.
Well, I just,
so that's an advantage to subscribe to my channel, because if you don't, you wouldn't know, because I'm a human being and I just do things whenever I can, right? I mean, so
right.
Yeah. If you want someone who's more consistent, I really recommend Terry Yonkers. He's in and day out. He tells you everything that's going on. Ollie's the same way of Trading Secrets. He's in, day out. They're much more consistent, and they will be there every single day. So,
oh my God, he punches a damn time card. It's amazing.
Yeah,
the guy's amazing.
He's got it. Yeah, his sense of humor is incredible. He's got that dry sense of humor that's really cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Let's.
I think it's gonna be broker by broker.
Do you think there's going to be a little bit of chicken at the beginning?
I think that of the smaller brokers, like the Trade Zeros, the Interactive brokers, maybe Interactive is a pretty big brokerage, but like of the Trading 212, Trade Zeros, and all that, they're going to basically tell their shorts, hey, you got to close your position or we'll close it for you, right? At which point, their short clients will choose what to do, and they'll either if they're smart, they'll close it themselves rather than have it closed for them.
Right.
But I mean, shorts have not shown that they're willing to do that lately. So, so if that's the case, then we could see a price rise tomorrow. It could happen towards the end of the day if they're not very smart, and we saw that today, right?
So I'm gonna throw a curveball at you.
Sure.
So like, I like curveballs because
Yeah.
like everyone thought today was going to be all about rainbows and gold, and I was like, I don't see that happening.
No. Yeah.
I'm going to try and just ruin the party. So I think tomorrow's going to be exciting. I think they're going to start out. I think it could start out with some nice solid price movement at the beginning,
and then they'll slam it.
What's that?
And then you think they'll slam it?
I think they're going to slam it. I think really they're going to run it up. They're going to run it up to like 12, 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And they're going to put you where they're going to put you in a place where you've been before, and you're going to go, wow, this is a nice happy place.
Yeah, you're going to be like, gee, I dodged that bullet.
Right, I was so happy right here. Let's just stay right here till the end of the day.
Right.
And then they're going to crush you. They're going to crush your dreams.
Right, and then you'll be like,
say, look,
yeah,
and they're going to bring you down to like 8 or 7, and they're going to say, look at, you were happy here too. You
can still get out when you can.
You can still get out. Look, they're going to give you that chance, and then they're going to bring you right back down to like that 5 area, and they're going to hold you there. I think they're going to hold you there for an extended amount of time, an amount of time to where they're going to go, all right, guys,
because they got Monday, and
we got to start buying this, right? I mean, we got like 400 million shares to cover.
That's just it. I don't think that they can cover, but anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why I've always felt like this is going to be a pretty historical event. I think in some areas you're right. So I think they're going to run. Then I think they're going to take you to places that you thought were possible. They're going to bring you to 25. They're going to bring you to 35. They're going to bring you to 40, and you're going to be like, look at this. Look at how smart I am. I am the smartest guy on Wall Street. I am so smart.
Yeah.
And then when you think
and then slam
it. They're going to slam it.
Yeah.
They're going to slam it because they want all of our shares to have to sell tomorrow.
Tomorrow or Monday, right? Yeah.
Right, but tomorrow they need
tomorrow.
to make a dent.
Yeah.
They need to make 150 to 200 million share dent, in my non-financial opinion. And in order to do that, they got to take you to places where your account says things that you've never seen before, only to the next minute bring you right back to earth. And that's kind of where you're going to have all these exciting decisions to make. And I think this is where your decision, your precipice.
Yeah, you're going to forget how pissed off you were at them before. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, this is your revenge, right? This is your, like, wait a minute here. Like, I remembered my training. I remembered everyone saying to myself, these assets are definitely worth at least $100 a share. So like, and they're going to bring you to 80 and 60, and then they're bringing in 90, and you're going to see. You're
going to get so close.
Well, yeah. But let's look at it this way: the average retail investor who has 2,000 shares, if they see their account take 2,000 times 100, right? That's what is that?
200,000. Close to $200,000. That's a lot of money for a lot of people.
And the average retail investor is going to think, man, 200,000, I'm out. And you know what?
Yeah.
Sell.
Exactly.
You think, I mean, take your profits and be like, I did it. I did it, right? I took my 2,000 shares I bought for $5,000. I turned it into 200 grand, and I'm a smart kid, and I'm out of here. So see you later. I'll never look at you again. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. The best part about all these squeezes, and if you go look at them, you'll look at OSTK, you go look at AMC, you go look at GME, you go look at all these big squeezes. There is a run up, and there's a drop.
Yeah.
And then there's like this lull, and then there's this explosive fireworks show that you never thought could possibly happen.
Right.
And when you go from like, and I remember watching it live with AC, I'm like, oh, it's 26. Oh, it's 30. Oh, it's 35. Oh, it's on halt.
Mhm.
What's going to happen? Is it going to stop trading?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it always goes up and down a lot, but you never know if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down, right? That's the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of where the shares are going to be bought so quickly, you won't be able to get a good share count, which I think is going to be. I think when those lulls happen, you're going to want to take a look and see what the volume is,
Mhm.
because if it's like 20 to 40 million,
Mhm.
you're going to have to make a decision and say, is that all? Is that all they got? And I think that there's going to be a lot more. And I think the big changeover is going to be where the position is at business close on Friday,
Mhm.
and what probably has to finalize on Monday.
Yeah. So just a word to anyone out there: don't rely on anyone to tell you this is a top, and don't take anyone's opinion as this is a top as gospel, because they may or may not know what they're doing, and just them saying this is a top could cause the price to plummet. That's the whole thing, right? So make up your own minds as to where you think is a good price for you. And it depends on your own financial situation, what you think is a good price, right? Because for the first time, you will probably be in the driver's seat, even though it won't feel like you're in the driver's seat. They have to get you to sell your shares. Right?
Yeah, they do. And it's funny you say that, because I just tweeted that like 15 minutes ago. I was like, I said, this is where you get to make the decision. Do you want to take your shares in the next bridge and say, what's on the other side of the green door,
Mhm.
or do you want to sell your position, some of your position off, maybe all of it, maybe half of it, and
Mhm.
take some profit? And man, it just feels so good to be done with that, the decision that was just made. It's just been such a long journey for so many people, and I think over the next 7 days, it's going to
get crazy. Yeah.
It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy.
So I think so. Two things. I think that what Roller Pigeons said earlier is pretty accurate. She said that next bridge is her stop loss. If it doesn't hit at least what she believes is the next bridge fundamental value,
yeah,
she's going to take it into next bridge. That's a fine strategy, right? It's perfectly fine. The other thing is that I don't think the shorts will be able to close, and I think that John Berta's tweet is prophetic, because he basically came up with the fact that if the shorts can't close, they're going to have to come begging metamaterials for NextBridge hydrocarbon shares, because there's no other place to get them, and they have to deliver them.
right.
And I know he wants to say F you to them so bad. And I want to hear that.
When you and I were chatting today, you actually told me about something that I had forgotten about. Do you want to share with
I have
the
no
audience?
idea what I told you.
Oh, you said, hey man, I just realized about all the short positions. Like, not only do they have to cover all the MMTLP short positions.
So I'm thinking that, so if they actually have to close their short positions, right, because a certain amount of time has passed, then if delete means that they have to go to zero, that means that they have to close their MMTLP at whatever price that is, right? But if their MMTLP went past the date of record, they're also on the hook somehow in order to get in order to deliver NextBridge hydrocarbon shares to the people who lent them the shares, right? Because the people who lent them the shares, they're supposed to get, they didn't give them the shares. I mean, technically, they actually gave them the shares. They sold the shares into the market, but they owe NextBridge hydrocarbon shares to those lenders, right? So it looks like they're on the hook for two things.
So you did a video really early, and I've referred back to this video because it's always been very impactful to where I started doing my DD, and that was, you went on the SEC website and you pulled off all the data from the merger of Torchlight and MMAT. And
Yeah, I pulled down the FTD data, the failure to deliver data, right?
Yeah. And why don't you tell the audience,
Gosh, that was
what
a
you
long
got?
time ago. Yeah, so I pulled down the FTD data, failure to deliver, and they actually call it. So it's kind of interesting. The failure to deliver data is in a file that's called CNS fails. .csv or .txt, I forget. I think
Yep.
it's CNS fails.txt. Anyway, so CNS stands for continuous net settlement, by the way. And if you're not sure what that means, Dr. Suzanne Trimbath talked about this thing called netting. And what actually gets cleared by the DTCC is not every single trade, right? What gets cleared is a net trade. So if you're at a broker's got a whole bunch of shorts, it's got a whole bunch of longs, it's got a whole bunch of buys, a whole bunch of sells, all that stuff, right? They balance everything out to get to, to everyone has their shorts, the shorts balance out with longs, right? The buys balance out with sells. All that's left are the net amount of shares that's left. That net amount is either positive or negative, right? And that's called net settlement. And that net shares get sent to the DTCC. And they do what's called continuous net settlement. So every single day, they get a new continuous net settlement. So I didn't really understand it at the time, but I now understand it much more fully. Because they're actually doing a continuous net, they lose track of who is actually, which entity resulted in the failures to deliver, I believe. All you get is a net, and that net gets sent to the DTC for clearing, right? That net gets sent all the time. As a result, you have effectively cleared out the failures to deliver every single time. So that's kind of you've effectively reset the clock on the FTDs, and I believe that's what Dr. Suzanne Trimbath said. And I was trying to get my head around effectively clearing out the FTDs, but I believe now at this point, because I looked at it in detail, and I said, that sounds about right. You're effectively clearing it out because you've lost the data of which client's trade actually resulted in the FTD, right? All you get is a net FTD. and
that net FTD, if I remember correct, and this is right off the SEC website, was about 40 million shares.
This is net 40 million. So in actuality, there's a lot more shorts than FTDs, right? So the crazy thing is that a while back, I actually did, I was actually thinking about FTDs and all that to try to figure out what the short position is. And according to the SEC and NASDAQ.
Oh, I can't wait sorry, I got to interrupt you. I'm so excited about this because I know where you're going.
Yeah. Everyone basically says, hey, look, FTDs, they're a small, tiny percentage of the actual overall market, right? So there's only like 1%. Most trades clear fine. So what does that mean? That means most shorts clear fine. Only 1% of them result in FTD. So you can basically take each day's FTD, multiply it by 100, and that'll give you how many shares were shorted that day. Just taking the FTDs, right? So, and it's an estimate, but it's a decent estimate, right?
It's a decent estimate.
Yeah. So the number. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. No, finish.
Yeah, so the number of short shares is actually, it's actually, although you're not supposed to add up the FTDs, you can for the purpose of trying to figure out how much short shares there are. So basically add up all the FTDs, multiply by 100, that's how many shares were shorted, right? Now the question comes up, after you shorted those shares, how many people closed their short position? The real answer is very few people closed their short position.
Yep.
But let's give them a benefit of the doubt. If you say 80% of them closed their short position, or 90% of them close their short position, then you get an idea of how bad the short position is, right? And effectively, it turns out that in a best case scenario, you're 10x the FTDs for shorts. And that's a hell of a lot of shorts. And I think
so that's around 400 million shorts.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'll say it out loud.
Yeah.
So that is the estimated estimated amount coming into this event. So now this happened. So I've always kind of joked like the longer they prolong this, the longer when they kind of fucked around and they made it tradable, and they didn't want to take their medicine back, back in October, right? They decided, we're gonna get this thing tradable, and we're gonna get these guys, we're gonna run them into the ground. And you know what?
They did.
They almost did. They put them on the the watch list of MMAT was on the watch list, and they had to finish over $1 15 days in a row. People forget this shit. This was like 60 days ago, and it was like, and like at that point when they got put on the
threshold list,
the NASDAQ watch list, I was like, holy shit, they're close. Like, they're going to get these guys listed, and this is going to be a forgotten story. And I thought, nah, I think, and I mean, I actually tweeted this. I think I bought the bottom. I tweeted that. I said, oh, did I buy the bottom here? And I bought shares at 67 cents, right? Which is kind of crazy to say now, because it's at $2.40, and that was less than, I don't know, 90 days ago. But my point is, they almost did it. They almost got MMAT delisted. They almost got them shorted into the ground.
Yep.
This story was almost never told. But you know what? They fucking didn't do it.
Nope. They just missed
They
it.
did not get it done. All of these short shares that they have wound up. You think, like, people have talked about TME and AMC and all these. I mean, relatively speaking, we're going to see some things that I think people haven't seen, and I think it's going to be very exciting. So anyway, going back to that story, 400 million Torch. Now they've got 18 months to go. They have been shorting it again, right, for 16, 17 months. And to your point, not only do they have to return those shorted shares, they have to return their legacy shorts.
Yeah. So the other thing
is that's a lot of buying, Tony. That's a lot of buying.
It's a lot of buying because no one's selling
again. A lot of buying.
Yeah, and no one sold today, as far as I'm concerned. This was all naked shorting. Yesterday they were on the OTC FINRA threshold list again, which means tons of naked shorting yesterday. Not today. We don't have today's data yet from FINRA. But there was 14 million shares theoretically traded today, and
theoretically,
yeah. And I'm of the opinion that they are almost all naked short sells, which means that they would all have to go. That's just throwing another 14 million, and it could be a whole lot more.
I know. I honestly, I thought today, I was like, well, they'll crack, right? They'll crack around 3. Yeah. Nope. No cracking. Nope. So now we've got 2 days left, right? We got 40. They have less than 13 hours. Well, that was what we were talking about when I was right. Yeah. So we actually calculated this out, right? So there's about you got 60 minutes in an hour, and you got 6.5 hours of trading, right? So you got about 400 minutes. They've got about 800 minutes.
Yeah, but you've got a point. There are 2 days, and the weekend is in between there. So they would probably want to make you stew over the weekend, right? And feel bad over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially, right? Because,
I mean, yeah. They got 800 minutes, in my opinion, to probably close out at least 400 to 500 million shares.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So if you do that, you divide that, right? You divide that up. You've got you've got about, I don't know, was that about 15 million shares a minute? I don't know.
Yeah. So I really think that they know that they can't close out their short position, right? And I think that they know they're going to wind up owing Nextbridge Hydrocarbons. And I think John Burda knows that. And that's why he tweeted what he said. Because basically he says, look, you know it, I know it. You're going to come to Nextbridge Hydrocarbons for more shares. We're not going to give it to you. And it's personal with him. It's not.
Well, if I remember correctly, they have about 35. They have about 35 million shares. So remember this.
They could give them 35 million.
I think they set those aside for a reason. I think those shares are going to be very valuable. I think that they have to sell. They have to be purchased.
Well, let's put it this way: if they took 35 million shares and they sold them at $1,000 a share, That's $35 billion that they could get. At which point, with $35 billion, don't forget you're a shareholder of that brand new company called NextBridge Hydrocarbons, and suddenly they'll have $35 billion in the bank. How much do you think your shares will be worth?
Oh, I know, right? I
Yeah.
mean, this has always been the non-tax, right, benefit that
Yeah.
we've all been.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that was a really good summation. I think the next 13 hours are going to be exciting. I think that there's a lot of decisions that people are going to have to make.
Yeah.
I think that morale is going to be exceptionally high. I mean, by the way, MMAT was on like the Gamma Squeeze list. So
Yeah.
they didn't stop with MMTLP. They're like, we're gonna keep shorting these guys too.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna see that pop here in the next 48 hours.
So
and I think.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I just think we're both in really. I was so happy to have this 4 o'clock thing done because there again, sense of relief. It's over. Now we have 2 decisions to make. You only have 2 decisions to make, right?
Yeah.
Do I sell at the price that I decide to sell at, or do I go into NextBridge and see what's on the other side of the door? That's it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
So this is one of those things which sounds incredibly weird and strange because I'm a long shareholder of MMTLP. And today I saw the price drop significantly, down 54%. And I could care less. I have lost a lot of money on paper today, but I don't really think about it. I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, it's like, screw this. I'm going to go into NextBridge Hydrocarbons now at this point. Because
Right.
I almost don't see how they could fail on that. And the other thing is I could get a long-term capital gains out of this if a deal is struck with Occidental Petroleum or something like that. Geez.
Right.
Then I can defer taxes. I can defer taking gains on that. I will just hang on to my Occidental Petroleum shares, which are equivalent of having been bought but not sold, right? So,
right.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Well, hey, I know we've been going for about 41 minutes.
Yep. And I got to get going soon. So,
yeah, man, this was great. So I'm going to try and call you tomorrow. I'm going to try and talk you into doing a pre-market live stream. So don't think I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
But I think
no guarantees.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, this has been awesome. I've totally enjoyed this. This has been, hopefully the people that listened in benefit from it.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't been able to take questions and all that because I'm just not really set up for live streams. Basically, it's just me talking with Meta Support Channel. So I hope you find this valuable. Don't forget that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Meta Support Channel is not.
2 guys hanging out.
It's 2 guys hanging out, and we're just shooting. We're shooting the breeze, and we couldn't be happier. Even though we're down a lot.
Right. I've been down more money in my account ever in my entire life, and I can't be more excited about it. So
exactly.
You got a good one, man.
Okay,
Enjoy
take care.
Yep.
You too. Right. I'm just going to close with saying this information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. So goodbye. Let's see. How do I shut down the live stream here? And end stream. There we go.